Hi everyone, today we're going to be doing a quick breakdown of how we shot a commercial in a day. This is part of the Open Lens Sessions initiative between Mo-Sys, Modern Wolf and Starting Pixel. If you would like to know what an Open Lens session is, pop over to startingpixel.com and click on Open Lens Session. It will tell you all about it. It's very cool. So meet Lauren, cinematographer, and Andy, the director, who came up with an idea to shoot an open lens session in a day. It is of a speculative ad, nothing too challenging, a bit of crash zooming at the end. And I think we had, 8 shots, maybe, max. You can sort of see the breakdown there. The first thing to do was to work out actually what type of virtual production we were going to need on this. Given that the shots were all pretty much locked off, there was going to be a crash zoom, there was a little bit of camera movement, but because of the background, which was in the distance, so it was going to be a rocky desert or a mountain range, the requirement for camera tracking probably, well, it wasn't required. So we opted for a backplate. Now with backplates, you've got a couple of options. You could have a static image, you could have a rolling video, or you could actually have a 3D environment as well. So we opted for a 3D environment. So the reasons for that is that obviously with a static image, you're locked in. That's the background. And those have to be prepared in advance and agreed that that's the background that you're going to be having a shot on. The same with the video. So if it's a static video that you're rolling, so that could be a driving plate or a walking plate, but that wasn't required. So you might want a video in this sort of scenario for the sun to move across, or the moon, or some action going on in the background, might be some birds flying about, or some clouds moving, etc. So I opted to go for a bit of a weird hybrid approach actually. We downloaded a rocky desert from the Unreal Marketplace. Now, if you don't know what an Unreal Marketplace is, I can cover that in a later date. This allowed us to be able to move a camera within a 3D environment. And initially, the plan was to render out the camera angle for the background, as and when the director decided and the cinematographer decided that that was going to be the shot. One key requirement from the cinematographer and director was the ability to be able to do reverse angles, which obviously on a sunny day meant that either you're able to move the sun about or you'll be able to go sort of in a 360. So a 3D environment really sort of helped with that, especially within Unreal as well. So that was the plan. The plan was that I would move the screen around until we found the shot. I would then render out a 2D plate, put that on a thumb drive, take that to a different machine, which is the machine that controls the LED wall, load that in as an image, very simple, just goes into as a flat image and projects onto the LED wall. Now that is good in a load of ways, but it has a few drawbacks. It's good in as much as the cinematographer and the director were able to look over my shoulder and we were able to select that shot and I hit the render button. The downside of that is the fact that actually if it wasn't quite right when it got up onto the LED wall, we then had to go back to square one and then redo it again. So it was sort of quite a bit of a few steps in that process. So it occurred to me then we could just run Unreal with this project on the same machine that is connected to the LED wall, and then I could just pilot the camera within the 3D environment and hit play, or actually hit F11, and that goes full screen within the LED wall. And that's the best of both worlds, right? So we're on the same machine that is connected to the LED wall, which means that I can pilot that camera. I can change the environment, i.e. the position of the sun. If we needed to do a reverse, we needed to change a rock because it didn't look quite right, but it was live. So I wasn't having to go from one machine, capture that static image, that 2D image, transferring it over to the machine that runs the LED wall, Instead, I could just do it live and go into play. And that was pretty much it for the technical setup. It was quite straightforward in the end. So we had that up and running within a couple of hours, if that. So the director and cinematographer really could just concentrate on giving me direction on the lighting angle and the positioning of the environment. One of the, I guess, biggest challenges I've ever come across is if the expectations of the director and the cinematographer isn't set. So really making sure that they know what is possible and what isn't when you're actually in the studio, and how much time it can take to change something as well. So, ensuring that kind of stuff was really clear. So they've gone into color grading, as you can see. So this was only shot a few days ago. And this is the final edit to be color graded. I believe it's sort of due in the next couple of days. I'll swap this out probably when it comes in and re-talk about it. But you can still see, this was all shot in a single day. And I wouldn't even say it was a particularly long day as well. So setup was in the morning. It had quite, lunch wasn't rushed, and filming was in the afternoon. So all quite possible to shoot a cool commercial in a single day.